Good evening, my fellow little bearish traders. Because it's already a nighttime where I live, I wanted to tell you a nice bearish tale for a good night and good sleep. This tale today will be about Bitcoin and why do I think that Bitcoin has never left the bearish market since 2017. For this charting, I will be using only simple technical analytical tools, which will be support and resistance lines and how the price action behaves around them. This chart is made on Bitstamp, and this is all the history available on trading Bitcoin since 2011. And I'm using the monthly candlesticks to visualize what I do think about Bitcoin right now. First, what I will do, I will just add all the major support and resistance lines along the way. And now the thing is, many of you may think that we already left the bearish market. I'm not so sure about it, and I will explain why. Also, one of the technical analysis principles is that price moves between support and resistance. To confirm the previous resistance as a support, we need at least one test on it. 2 or 3 will be confirming it as a stronger one. And as you can see, last bull run in 2013 ended by testing. The bull run ended, it provides a new resistance around $1,100, and the bear market, which started there, ended when we confirmed the previous resistance, which was made in April 2013. By testing it actually 1 to 3 times on monthly chart, and then we had the end of the winter of the bearish market, and the bulls could push the price up high again. Right now we have the same story here. We already placed a resistance, and right now what happened? We didn't test the previous support at all yet. It's still not tested, it's still waiting for us to come down and prove that it will be a support. So this is the first thing about Bitcoin. I do think that we are still to test it. And if you look at the price action here, and the stopping formation, in my opinion, in this box, we already made a lower high. This is the other thing. When you make a lower high, we will see if we'll make a lower low, and if it is, then we will have a downtrend. So making lower high on monthly charts can be really telling what actually is going on. As you can see, all the as you may already actually know, all the market cycles are longer each time they happen. So we had one bull run in 2013, and this bear market induced after the bull run lasted only like 91 days. The next bull run and the next bear market, until we reversed, lasted around 2 years actually. So all the market cycles, and Bitcoin is short-lived, and it provides, because of this volatility in the past, it provides a lot of it provided several like smaller market cycles in shorter time. So this is the thing. I know many of you will laugh at fractals, and I laugh at them too, because but one of the technical analysis principles, once again, its history tends to repeat itself. So I don't treat price action, previous patterns, like a fractal type that I will follow them one-to-one, but they represent a certain market behavior, they represent a certain buyers and sellers, market participants behavior. And what I do believe, that by testing this support, we actually, if I can go back in the past, this support was here in the last market cycle. And it's really telling, because after placing a high, we made a lower high then, and then we fall back down to retest what was called previously the resistance and became the strong support. We never did it again in the current situation, and it's still a huge gap here in price action, which wants to be, in my eyes, to be filled. All my bias according Bitcoin comes not from my personal belief about crypto, it comes only from simple charting. I still believe that we are in this phase of the market and we still have a long way to go down. And we also did place a lower high on a macro, which will be represented by this one. And if we can go can go and see to lower time frames, this chart will be really similar on the weekly candles to the last market cycle. We had something which people then were thinking that, okay, the bear market is over here and we finally have a bull run. We placed a nice little bull trap to trap all the moon boys here, and then we tested the support properly here. As you can see, this chart here is really similar to this situation on monthly chart. And why I'm switching between time frames, and switching because this market cycle, by all the definitions, probably should last more than the last one. And if we go with the ratio, this was the first bull run, this is the second one, this is the third one. And if we go with the cycles, this one lasted 90 days, this lasted 2 years. So if we are to do one-to-one, I still believe that this market cycle, actually a bear market cycle, will end by testing this support, bouncing few times of it, around 2020, 2023. I know it may be, especially in Moon Boy's ears, a little irrational, and they want to believe that Bitcoin is a bullish asset and it will climb forever. But we can't cheat the nature of the market and how it builds its own structure and the rules it follows. And many of you can say that Bitcoin is crypto can do everything. But as far as I see, cryptocurrencies just follow the technical analysis in a really simple and effective way. And you can't cheat something which is called supply and demand, something which is called greed and fear. Those are the same emotions and the same economical things which are followed by every chart and each actually commodity. And Bitcoin is not a currency, it's a commodity which is traded. So this is the first point of me telling, if I was to show how it will probably move, just using the simple way of thinking and how the price action probably moves. Of course, it will not move in a straight line, don't misunderstand me, but what I am expecting it to do, I don't trade my expectations, I just trade technical analysis, and I'm just assuming that it may do something like this. So if it will break this support, of course, if it can bounce off it and it can move to the upside, it can consolidate here and then go down. After it retests this resistance, this support, which will be a resistance, and your resistance, it will probably move, and I don't know how long it will take to test properly the support formed by breaking the resistance placed in the last market cycle. And if we have a proper test of this support somewhere here, and consolidation, and giving some kind of an order block, some kind of a consolidation, and letting the bigger players fill their pockets, we may actually start a bullish market again. But until it happens, I'm not really thinking that we will be mourning from here. The second point I want to make is, starting from when the Bitcoin was traded on Bitstamp, I don't like diagonals. Diagonals are not the best tool to be doing technical analysis. But we have a monthly trend line forming here, and we did break this trend line in November 2018 to the downside. And what we actually did right now, we just retested this trend line and treated it as a resistance and bounced off it. It's also shown by those bearish wicks on the candles here, and showing a lot of sell pressure coming from this area. And in my opinion, this until Bitcoin breaks this resistance here, if we are to play some time here, I'm not going to be bullish at all, because right now we made a lower high, we retested the rising monthly trend line, and I have absolutely no bullish case for this one right now. It's really hard to find one. We just rejected of the resistance built in January 2018. We also rejected from a monthly trend line, and most of all, we didn't test the previous resistance right now as a support. And before we do it, I'm not going to change my nickname to Jackie Double, and I'm looking for more price action to the downside. It doesn't mean also that I'm shorting right now, right here, but it gives me like a general bias for my trading in coming months, more maybe years. I hope you did like this small little bearish tale, and what I will do in next episodes, I will try to provide you some juicy, nicey, easy to listen bearish tales for the other assets. Right now I wish you a really good night, sleep well, and trade well.